Detroit basketball. The Pistons get back on track, get back in the win column, and beat the Toronto Raptors tonight at home, 123-114. Tonight's game was important because I wanted to see if there was going to be any hangover from their 5-game winning streak being snapped last game against the Warriors. Last show I mentioned that the silver lining of that was that the Pistons can now just lock back in and focus strictly on basketball. The Pistons are slowly beginning to earn some respect because now they're winning basketball games and they're building an identity. And the Warriors knew last game that the Pistons were going to come into that game playing hard, and they know the Pistons are playing well, so they knew they were going to have to beat them. Evidence of that is that the very next game against the Pacers, they sat Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Usually teams in the past would sit their main guys against us to rest them for a tougher matchup the next night. But this time it was the opposite, and that's something to pay attention to. Tim Hardaway Jr. returned tonight from back spasms, and he got the start at the 2 with the start at the 3, and that was very, very important. We'll get into that later. Initial thoughts though, right? So the Pistons got the win, but they played with their food in this game. And the longer you do that in the game, the more you're going to give the other team confidence, and that's exactly what happened tonight. This was a game the Pistons were definitely supposed to win. The Raptors came into this game tonight 8-30. The Pistons did hit first in the first quarter, right? We always talk about hitting first and setting the tone in the first quarter. The Pistons did that. They went up 14-6 to start this game, and they made the Raptors call the first time out, but they didn't sustain it. This felt like a game the Pistons could have lost, to be honest, because they kept letting the Raptors hang around. They let them hang around all night long. They never took control of the game. They never put their foot in the neck. They had opportunities to. They just never really took control of the game and put the game away. And I know a win is a win, but this is probably the most underwhelming win of the season to this point. Late in the game, the Pistons were up 2 and the Raptors missed 4 straight free throws. They were playing the Raptors, so thankfully they were able to get away with it. But if you let most teams hang around all night long and don't put them away when you have opportunities to, you're going to lose that game more times than not. So hopefully in a win, this can serve as another learning lesson for the Pistons. Let's get to the box. Cade Cunningham, 22 points, 17 assists, 10 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 8 turnovers, on 8 for 17 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 of 5 from the free throw line in 37 minutes. Cade balled out tonight, man. I know he had 8 turnovers, but he had 17 assists. And he notched yet another triple-double. He's been playing, for the most part, under control. And tonight he was just surveying. He was surveying the defense and making the right read, whether it was getting his own or getting his teammates involved. Tonight, you could tell he knew the Pistons could not afford to lose this game with their recent momentum, and he was really into it. And he played well defensively, too. He had some key plays down the stretch of this game when the game was tight. He had a nice block on Scotty Barnes, and he played tough defense for most of the night, considering how many minutes he had to play and his offensive load. And he really stepped up in the clutch when the Pistons needed him. He didn't play perfect, and he was a little loose again with the basketball at times, but he made big plays in big-time moments when the Pistons needed it most. That sounds like an all-star to me. Tobias Harris had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 turnover, on 6 for 12 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. So once again, another strong game from Tobias Harris, right? At the beginning of the season, what I was hoping to see from him was about 15 to 18 points per game, grabbing some rebounds, getting some assists, and playing solid defense. That's exactly what he did tonight. He didn't play perfect, but he was efficient, only 12 shots. He knocked down 40% of his threes. He didn't miss a free throw. And defensively, he's made some nice plays too. So he's continuing to settle in. The last week or two, he's really been playing consistent, steady basketball. And that's really all we need from him, to be a third scorer for this team and just be a steadying and consistent presence for this team. And tonight, he continued to do that. Rashad Thompson had a quiet night. He had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 turnover on 2 of 5 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line in 20 minutes. So once again, he did not play a lot. I'm beginning to wonder if he's still feeling the effects of whatever he had, because he still doesn't seem quite like himself. He was a little bit out of control tonight. He was a little loose with the basketball. But aside from that, he just didn't seem to have that same electric burst that he usually has. And I think it may just be because he's still getting over whatever bug he may have had. But he didn't play terrible. He made some key defensive stops in the fourth quarter when the Pistons needed him. So even though he didn't score a lot of points, he was still solid tonight. Jalen Duren had 10 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 turnover on 3 of 4 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line in 28 minutes. Good game from JD. He's continuing to put emphasis on the defensive side of the ball and focus on that end of the floor. He didn't play perfect. He had some defensive mistakes in this game, but overall, I like the mindset more than anything. Just continue to focus on become a defensive anchor, and everything else on the offensive end will work itself out. He only had 4 shots, so he wasn't looking for his offense. That should tell you a lot about his approach to the game. On one play, he got the rebound and ran the floor hard and got an easy dunk from Cade. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what we need from him, because he has the ability to get down the floor quickly and set up shop down in the paint for an easy dunk or layup. And it wasn't just the offense, like I mentioned. He also ran the floor defensively, disrupting what looked to be a couple fast break finishes, but he got back and prevented the shot or got the block out right. He's really getting better and better game over game incrementally, and that's all I ask for. So JD, solid game. The focus is there, the mentality is there, and the approach is there. Another note too for JD, Jakob Poeltl, who was very effective in the first matchup against the Pistons, had 8 points and 12 boards. So he was active, but he wasn't nearly as impactful this game as he was last time. And a big part of that is because JD met his energy, right? We know Jakob Poeltl is not as talented as Jalen Duren, but he can outplay him if he allows him to. So JD matched his energy, and he didn't allow him to have a very impactful night tonight. For the starters, last but not least, Tim Hardaway Jr., man. Tim Hardaway Jr. led all scorers tonight with 27 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 turnover, on 9 for 13 overall, 7 for 8 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line in 37 minutes. Game ball goes to Tim Hardaway Jr. Cade played a very strong game with the triple-double and playing both ways very well, but I gotta give the game ball to Tim Hardaway Jr. because he made so many big shots in this game. Many of Cade's 17 assists came from Tim Hardaway just knocking down shot after shot after shot. And he seems to help the Pistons really get off to good starts. It seems like the last few games now, he's opened up the game with the bucket to get the Pistons going offensively. And tonight he did that as well. He was a big part of that early start, that good start the Pistons had to force the Raptors into a timeout. In the second half though, he just made shots when the Pistons really needed him. He's really been playing great for this team. And as I mentioned before, he needs to stay at the 2-guard spot instead of the 3 spot. And now that Asar's back, he can do that. We saw early this season when Asar was out, Tim Hardaway Jr. playing the 3, and he was undersized every night. Right? He played his tail off, but he was undersized every night. And when you're having to guard somebody bigger than you every single night, that's going to affect your offense. That's going to affect your legs. That's going to affect your shooting ability. And now that Asar is healthy, we're seeing how much better Tim looks at the 2 because he's not defending a bigger player every single night. So you see the domino effect of Asar Thompson's presence once again. But great game from Tim Hardaway, man. He has been very much a safety valve offensively for this team. When the Pistons have needed a bucket, he's just gone and gotten one. And tonight, he was lights out. Lights out, man. And defensively, he brought it. He played really good defense. His defense looked much better because once again, he's guarding a 2 instead of a 3. So he's able to stay in front better. He's not getting bullied at the rim. He's just playing great basketball. And now he's more comfortable in his role because of where the Pistons are playing him. Let's get to the bench. All right, guys. Let's start with Simone Fontecchio. Fontecchio had 9 points, 3 rebounds, on 4 base shooting, 1 of 3 from 3 in 15 minutes. Okay. So for months, you guys have heard me say the same thing over and over again by now when it comes to Simone Fontecchio. Simone Fontecchio is a catch and shoot player at his best. Can he put the ball on the floor? Yeah. Can he drive to the hoop and get buckets sometimes? Sometimes. Can he also turn the ball over when he does that? Absolutely. Simone Fontecchio needs to stop putting the ball on the floor and just be a catch and shoot player for this team. I've said it I don't know how many times now, but once again, it reared its ugly head tonight. I feel like in that second quarter, he single-handedly, and I don't even like saying that because I hate putting blame on one individual player's team game, but tonight it was very glaring. When he came into the game late in the first quarter or early in the second quarter, he made so many mistakes that allowed the Raptors to get back into the game. He was taking bad shots, trying to drive to the rim. He actually ended the first quarter trying to do a Euro in the lane for a tough finish at the rim, which missed. And he followed that up by trying to steal the inbound pass that he had no chance of getting and allowed a 3-point buzzer beater. Just bad basketball. Just bad basketball. I've been saying this for months now, and it's getting frustrating watching the same thing happen every single game. Every single game. He needs to stop putting the ball on the floor and just catch and shoot. If you can't catch and shoot, move the ball and move yourself. The ball will come back to you if it's supposed to in the flow of the offense. That's it. But him trying to Euro in the lane and putting the ball on the floor and getting caught in the air, trying to make an errant pass, like just move the ball. Just make the right pass to the right guy and move yourself. He's hurting the team by trying to do things out of his scope as far as what he can consistently contribute. If he's consistently getting to the bucket and getting hoops, but it's also consistently turning the ball over when he does so, he's not consistent. What he can do consistently is score the basketball from long range. That's what he can do consistently. That should be his role. At this point, if I'm the Pistons, I'm giving Bobby Klintman a look. I'm giving Bobby Clippman some of his minutes, if not all of his minutes, and I'm living with it. I want to see what he can do in that role. I feel like Bobby Clippman can do a lot of the things Simone Fontecchio was trying to do, as far as being a playmaker, as far as putting the ball on the floor and finding open guys. Bobby Clippman can do that. At this point, if I'm the Pistons, I'm giving Bobby some minutes, starting next game. Okay, enough of that. Malik Beasley, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers on 6 for 10 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3. 2 of 4 from the free throw line in 27 minutes. So it seems like whenever Bees has a bad shooting game, he comes back the very next night and has a great shooting game. And tonight was no exception. This is the 3rd time now where he's had a bad shooting game and came back the next night and had a great shooting game. 60% from 2, 80% from 3. That's just what he does. And once again, he's playing the same way every game. He had a few shots that were a little bit out of rhythm, and he missed back-to-back free throws uncharacteristically, but that doesn't happen often. Once again, Bees played a solid game. His scoring off the bench was definitely needed tonight. Isaiah Stewart had 6 points, 5 boards, 1 block, 1 turnover on 3 of 6 shooting in 20 minutes. Stu was also into this game tonight, man. You could tell he was really trying to inspire his guys to just play a little bit harder. Every time Stu steps on the floor, you can tell he wants to send a message to everybody around the league that when they watch film on him, he's out to dominate that paint and conquer that paint every single night, right? He's such a tone setter. He gives his team such a mental edge, and he made some big plays tonight. He had a nice block on Scotty Barnes at the rim. In the 4th quarter, he had some big plays when the game was tight. He had some offensive rebounds, blocking shots, knocking down shots. He is one of the leaders of this team, and he always leads by example, which makes it easy for guys to follow him. I absolutely love Isaiah Stewart and everything that he embodies. There's not been one game that he has been out of character, because every single game he brings that mentality and he plays hard and he leaves it all on the court. Model of consistency. Ron Holland had 3 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 of 5 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3. So not a great night from Ron. The energy and effort was there. He did knock down a corner 3 ball, and his 3 ball is getting better and better. I know he only shot 1 of 4 tonight, but you can tell he's starting to catch a rhythm, not just with his shot, but understanding when to take shots, right? He's not forcing shots. He's taking his shots within the flow of the offense when the ball rotates to him. And he has a quick release too. So as he continues to work on that 3 ball, it could really become a weapon for him long term. Marcus Sasser had 5 points and 1 assist on 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3 in 11 minutes. So he didn't play a ton of minutes tonight, but in that 3rd quarter, he gave the Pistons a scoring boost that they needed. He scored 5 straight points, and he came into the game looking for his offense right away. He got right to work. He didn't wait. He didn't look passive out there. He didn't look like he was trying not to step on toes. He came into the game looking for buckets. And his path to success with this team is becoming that instant offense off the bench, a la Vinny Johnson, just coming in, looking to score. And tonight, in limited minutes, he did that. So the Pistons are back over 500. They are now 20-19. And the next game comes against the Knicks on the road on the 13th. So that's not going to be an easy game. It will be great for the Pistons to get a win. But for me at this point, I just want the Pistons to stay above 500. Don't have a losing streak when you fall back underneath 500 and you're continuing to fight uphill the rest of the season trying to stay above water. I want to see the Pistons get above and stay above 500. Win the games you're supposed to win. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Tonight was one of those games, and the Pistons won. So hopefully they can keep it up. But what did you guys see in tonight's game that I may have missed? Let's talk about it. Before I get out of here, I want to send my thoughts and prayers and condolences to everybody in California affected by the wildfires. A lot of people lost their homes and some lost their lives. As much as I complain about the snow and the cold weather here in Detroit, what's happening in California is something that Michiganders don't have to deal with. And I want to give a shout out to Coach Bickerstaff, who donated $500 tonight for every Pistons assist to go towards relief efforts. So shout out to him. Thankfully, Kate had a ton of assists. He had 17. The Pistons had 35 overall. So I did the math. 500 times 35 is $17,500. And all that is going to relief efforts in California. So that is a great thing. I love to see it. And prayers up to all the victims. You know, hopefully this comes to an end soon and people can get back to living their lives again. With that said, I appreciate you hanging with your boy. And as always, Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
Rewind 2021. There was a parade in my city. #1 pick, dancing in the street. Everybody was hitting the gritty. Kid arrived in the D, and it was live as can be. They can ball, but we didn't want Green, Mobley, or Scotty B.
No shade.
When he got hurt, everyone lost it. Storylines leaking, no faucet. Caught him washed when he broke his tibia. All the haters, time to get it really, Everybody wanna be Skip Bayless. Wanna throw shade, okay, say less. Dudes went #1 for a reason. It'll click by the end of the season. When he wins most improved player. Gonna be a movie, here's the trailer. Don't say I didn't try to warn ya. Co-signed by Win Benyamin.
Kate Cunningham.
He was raised a Texan. but now he's Detroit flexing. Team USA, he was killing them. Got him effed up, let me quote Eminem. Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. That's a bunch of gibberish and money lovers act like they forgot about K. Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. That's a bunch of gibberish and money lovers act like they forgot about K.
Forgot about K, they forgot about K. Forgot about, how you forget about K?